What's happening, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to episode number 2 of Thrifty Business with J and A. Oh, where am I? All right, so I'm having a little bit. Shoot. Is that your end or my end?
What's...
Oh, talk for a sec, Nay.
Hi, everybody.
There we go. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I had not a great way to start. I had the open feed of the show live in my ears, and it was screwing me up, and I couldn't figure out where the open window was. So let's try it again. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to episode 2 of Thrifty Business with J and Nay. I'm your host, Vegas J.
And I'm Philly Nay.
Holy cow. Sorry about that. I thought I was so ready. I was like wandering around my house. I was like, yeah, we got it. We're ahead of the schedule today. What a ding-a-ling.
We're all good. It's okay.
All right. When we start every show, we start it with Jason's Tiki Talk. So let's get right into that. And tonight we are going to be actually drinking an actual cocktail. I have foregone the Cuba Libre for this evening, and I made a real cocktail. So the cocktail is called Ciro's Special. And Ciro's was a nightclub in Hollywood back in the 1940s, and that's when this drink was invented. So it wasn't really a tiki place, so to speak, but they had good rum cocktails. And the main base rum, or the rum in this drink, is dark Jamaican rum. So I am using Legend. This is a Myers 10-year aged rum. It's really, really yummy. And my cocktail, or my tiki mug of the evening, is called it's from the Islander. It was a tiki restaurant. And this mug is called the Islander Earring Head. So I'm going to take a little sip of my Ciro Special.
Okay. And I am also participating in Jay's Tiki Time. I have the rest of the bottle from last week, the Blue Chair rum that we showed last week. And I have a little lime, a little juice, and a little bit of rum. And my tiki mug is actually a dud mug. It's just a common mug. But I like it. And it was chipped, so I was going to put it in a lot. And I couldn't put it in the lot because of the chip. So I'm keeping it for myself, and I'm pretty happy with it. So.
And
cheers.
Cheers, baby. And I'm going to do something different this week because we're actually doing a cocktail. I am showing you the recipe. So if you want to write it down, here's the recipe. It's very simple. I actually made a double batch, so I didn't have to run off in the middle of the show to make another one. It's meant to be served kind of straight up with in a martini-type glass. So fresh lime juice, creme de cassis, Grand Marnier, and dark Jamaican rum. So you shake it over ice and strain into a cocktail glass. It is yummy. Everyone that comes here that has one in my house is like, oh, my God, that was so delicious. So that is my drink for this evening. So good. So let's dive right into you. If you tuned in last week, you saw some news, and we're going to check in with Nay and see how she's doing and where we're at, and she wants to say a couple things. So the floor is yours, Nadine.
Okay. I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone for the outpouring of support. It was actually overwhelming to me. I didn't expect to have so much love and support from everyone. And I just wanted you all to know that I have read all of the positive comments, and I've also received a lot of personal messages, and I will get to answering all of those. It's just, like I said, it's been a little bit overwhelming because I didn't expect to receive such a great response. And thank you so much, everyone, for your love and support. And I feel like I can fight even harder with everybody behind me. So I really wanted to just say that I appreciate that.
And we have decided, based on Nadine's news, to do something fun and to raise some money. So here is what we are going to do. This got born out of one of the members in Thrifting with the Boys put a picture of herself wearing the bra she was about to sell on her head. Gwen Sharp. Hello, Gwen. And so we have born this idea. Our contest is $1 for a bra. And here's the details. We are going to have everybody go to our fan page, Thrifty Business with J and A, like it, and then put up a picture of yourself wearing a bra on your head, or your kid, or your dog, or your cat, or your turtle, or whatever you got. And on behalf of my co-host Nadine, my wife Stacy and I are going to donate $1 to the National Breast Cancer Awareness Fund per entry, and we have up to $1,000. So we need 1,000 people to enter this contest. I would like to give $1,000 on behalf of Nadine and every family member and friend that any one of us watching or in the show here has been affected by cancer. So here's. Sorry.
This is so great. Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you. This is great that we're doing this. This is the kind of thing that I wanted this to turn into. You know, instead of a sad thing, I think that we can definitely do some good. So
here's the deal. So not only are we going to raise money, so my wife and I will donate $1 for every contestant who enters. We're going to hopefully get everyone else to donate. So I know if some people don't have a lot of money, if we got 1,000 people to participate and everybody just donated just $5 and Stacey and I put in 1,000, that'd be $6,000 to breast cancer awareness, and I think that would be an awesome thing. But there's more. But wait, there's more. There are prizes. The first prize gets a $150 eBay gift card. Now you cannot beat that for throwing a bra on your head. If you're funny and you can come up with a funny shot, you get $150. Second prize, $100. Third prize, $50. These are all gift cards to eBay. So I am going to launch it right now on our fan page, and you can start tonight. We're going to run the contest for 1 week, and the only place you can play is on our fan page. So please go over there and like it and start putting those pictures up, and then I cannot wait to send them a big check at the end of the week. All right?
I'm so excited about this contest. It's going to be great.
Be creative. Be funny. You know, you got a pet turtle, wrap them in your bra. Do something. Our picture here, I thought both of us was hilarious. I'm going to pop that back up here because there's us being goofballs. So let's get this up. We got a week to get 1,000 entries. All right. So I'm counting on everybody to participate. Plus, what the heck, you might win $150 worth of shopping on eBay. You can't beat that. Alrighty. So that's our contest. We will have links. Like I said, go to our fan page. We'll have it in Thrifting with the Boys. But now we are going to get into the main meat of the show, and we are going to talk about. Hello, where's my mouse? There we go. Oh, what is going on there? Oh, there we go. It helps to turn it up. All right. There we go. Tonight, we're going to talk about our scores of the week. And our scores of the week are typically items that we found that are going to be, we found for cheap and they're going to be good sellers. So here is my score of the week. I got to pick, I picked the Riviera Casino closing sale 5 times. And I, on 2 separate occasions, found all of the tap handles from the bars. So this is one that I did quite well on. All the tap handles were $5, and this one sold for $39.50. And if you have an eBay store right now, the new structure to the store is you get 100 free collectible auctions a month. So that's what I used. I did some free auctions for collectibles, and if you notice, I did a nice close-up of the top of the beer tap because there's a squirrel holding a hop. Now, I could have done the full shot. And when I do things that are long like this, I do a shot on an angle, so it kind of fills up the square. But I wanted people, especially people shopping on their phone, to see it, get excited about it. And hey, I got 7 bids. I started at $24.99, and it closed at almost $40. So I think I did quite good on that. So that's my score today.
That's a good score.
And we're going to pop. I'm not even going to come back. I'm going to pop right into Nays. And so.
Okay. So this. Actually, the reason that this is a score is because I bought 3 similar Kamehameha Hawaiian ties all together for $10. So I paid approximately $3.33 a piece. And this is the second one that I've already sold for full asking price of $34.99. I only have one left now. So that lot that I purchased was definitely a big score. Like I said, I still have one more to sell, and I believe that it'll go for the same price. So so that's my one score, and then I have another one to show.
So before we jump off this one, if I ever had to wear a tie, which will never happen again for the rest of my life, I would rock this one.
It is a cool tie, yeah.
That is an amazing, amazing tie, and we'll show the label here because this is a vintage Kamehameha label. So there's the label, and you'll see this on shirts and dresses too. So keep in mind, Kamehameha didn't make just ties; they made all kinds of Hawaiian wear. It always sells well for me. It sold well for Nadine. So keep your eyes peeled.
Yep. So.
All right, I'm popping back into us, and you have a score to show us.
Yeah. So while I was thrifting this week with Jason was in Philly, I actually found this. It's a Chiquita banana women's cycling jersey, and it's new with tags. I actually found it in the children's section, but it's a women's size small. And the only ones that I've been able to pull up, I haven't been able to pull up any completeds yet. But the only ones I've been able to pull up so far are men's, and they are listed at $90 right now. So I have a good feeling this one is going to be a big score for me once I get it listed and sold. So I'll update everyone on that.
You know, we should have done is taken a picture of me in it. Well, it would have ruined it, but
it would have been a little too small too. Yeah.
It's a small. I am far from small.
Yes.
All right. So we have seen our scores of the week, and then we know what's next. Oh, there we go. And what is next is our duds of the week, because not everything is a winning item. So we all have our duds. All right. Oh, whoops, wrong. So my dud, where'd my duds go? Oh, they're there. Here's my dud, and I thought it would be a winner. So I was at a Savers one day, and somebody, obviously a tequila rep, had dropped off all these bandanas. There was a yellow Cabo Wabo and a black Cabo Wabo, which is what I sell quite well, and then these Jose Cuervos. Everyone knows a Jose Cuervo. I can't give these bandanas away. So I got them for $9.99. I was taking offers of $5 with free shipping because it just sits, and I have, I don't know, 50 of them. So maybe one day I will use them as a party favor. So if you ever come to my house and you leave with a Jose Cuervo tequila bandana, you know why. All right, so that's mine, and then here is Nadine's dud of the week.
Okay, this is a dud because I sell a lot of yarn, and I actually bought this when I first started selling yarn. And I bought I found all these unopened vintage packs of latch hook yarn, and I thought this was going to be a great sell. But it has sat in my store for quite a while, well over a year, maybe longer. It took up a lot of space, actually, to store the whole lot, and because I'm limited on space. And then the other thing with it is that I wasn't taking into account when I priced it with free shipping that it was over 13 ounces, which means that it couldn't go first class. So I was able to get it into a padded flat rate envelope, which is only a little over $5, but still it wasn't really worth to store and you know, to get that price. There just wasn't a lot of profit in it, and it just took too long to sell. So I am not going to be buying latch hook yarn if I find it again.
Okay, I won't buy it either then. Since I've never bought it before in my life, I don't think I'll start today.
Other yarns sell well, but not that. So.
See, that's where I get lost, because I know yarns sell well, but when I look at it, I just
that was definitely a mistake. But it's gone. It's out of here. So my dad is sold and has a new home now. Finally.
Don't dwell on your mistakes, but learn from them. I do every day. I should have just bought the Cabo Wabos and left the Jose Cuervo behind.
But it's all about learning too, because
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so.
All right, so after we do our duds and our scores, we do our close encounters of the thrifty kind. I will go first since I tend to forget mine, so let me get mine out, then I'll throw it to Nadine.
Yeah, it kind of is a continuation of, you'll see in a second.
Yeah.
It's funny.
So, our close encounters of the thrifty kind is people we have interacted with in the thrift store. Sometimes funny, weird, creepy, whatever. And mine is from my favorite thrift store. It's a Savers, but it's in a little weirder, rougher part of town, and I call it Crazy Town, because there's always crazy stuff going on. So as we go on in our episodes, you will hear many stories from Crazy Town Savers. So my favorite one, though, is I was waiting to check out, and I was behind two girls, and the bill was $10.15. And so the girl who was actually buying the stuff, she whips out a 10, hands it to the girl, and looks at her friend and goes, "You got 15 cents?" And without hesitation, the girl reaches into her bra and whips out 3 nickels. Now, she didn't fumble. She didn't look around. She whipped out 3 nickels. And in my head's just, I'm like, I've seen people carry like cash and phones in their bra, but change, and are like nickels on one side and quarters on the other. So I was just like, wow, I love this store, because I always leave with some fun story like that. And then Nay's thrifty encounter actually has a visual, so let me get that up.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that. And Nay's is at her favorite Goodwill, so hang on.
My favorite Goodwill, yes.
All right, so this is the visual that goes with Nadine's.
Okay, so when Jason and I were thrifting in Philly last week, he tried on, it was in the women's section. I don't even know if it's a men's or women's jacket. I think it's a men's. It was huge, and it fit Jason, so he had to model it. Well, when I went back to that same thrift store on my lunch yesterday, the jacket was still there in the same spot in the women's section. So I had to, of course, put it on, model it, and send the picture to Jason. And the funny thing is, the encounter happened because I put the jacket on, and there was a woman standing there shopping. She was like down the aisle a little bit, and she turned around and she said, "Honey, are you cold?" And I said, "No, I'm just, trying on the jacket." And then she looked at me and she said, "That really doesn't fit you so well. That's a little big on you. I wouldn't recommend buying that." And then I started taking a picture of myself, and she was looking at me, and I said, "I'm just taking a picture for my friend. It's okay." But I think she thought I was a little crazy, so she kind of just scooted out of there. But
she thought you were like, Kim Kardashian, like, ooh, hang on.
Yeah, but she was trying to give me fashion advice that the jacket just was not for me. But so that was a funny continuation from our thrifting adventures last week.
And, there's kind of a tip. If you see something you think, man, maybe I should get it, but then you don't. Mm-hmm. If you go in a week later and it's there.
And in the same spot.
That tells you it's a dud. Like, everybody's looked at it and said, nope. The next day it's there is one thing. If it's there a week later.
Yeah, it was a full week later, yes.
It was not meant to be. I will tell you that for sure. All right, so after we do all that, the next thing we do is our Thrifty Tip of the Week. And we're actually doing a joint Thrifty Tip tonight. So when I was in Philly, not this past time with May, but the month before when I was doing an event, we had about an hour and a half to kill before she had to take me to the airport. And I said, "Oh my gosh, there's a Salvation Army really close to here." And she goes, "There is?" To the airport. I go, "Yeah, let's go check it out." And so our Thrifty Tip of the Week, and I'm going to explain it a little bit in detail, is make sure to go ghetto thrifting. And when I say ghetto thrifting, I don't mean specifically the color of anyone's skin, but just the neighborhood it's in. Now, the store Nadine and I went to in Philly, the parking lot was enclosed in chain link and barbed wire. That is not a thrift store in a high-end place. It was
very secure, and it wasn't a part of town that I was familiar with, I'll just say.
And the store I go to, besides Crazy Town Savers, there's a store even further down into Crazy area, has bullet holes in the window. You do not see bullet holes in the thrift stores in the fancy parts of town. But here's why we go to the rough parts of town. There's good stuff. Typically, in a lower income neighborhood, people are buying stuff for themselves. And so if there's something kind of fun and fancy, they get left behind. So you can go in and thrift and find some sweet scores. So we have some live visuals of the stuff we found and the prices we paid that day. So what do you got there, Nay?
Okay. First up, I have a pair of Lily Pulitzer thong sandals. They actually have this cool. They have this cool. Can you see? They have this cool gold frog on them.
Hold it up a little higher, Nay.
Yeah. They're a little misshapen, but I can get them shaped out again. But they have this beautiful gold like frog with all this bling on it. And I paid $4.99 for them. And I know they'll sell well. They're Lily Pulitzer. The bottoms are a little worn, but that doesn't really matter. They'll clean up and reshape well, and they're in pretty good condition. My next score, Jason actually found this one for me. It is a beaded vintage evening bag, and if you open it on the inside, you can see that it's brand new, and the $45 price tag is still on it. And it's a very small clutch bag, so I'm probably going to ask around that price for it, because it's a beautiful bag. It's heavy. You can tell that the beads aren't, it's high quality. So that was a good score.
Gorgeous.
And the other one is, there's a lot of crazy cat people out there. I'm actually one of them. So I found this great bag that it's a tapestry bag, and it's just covered in cats. And it's a great size. It's zippers at the top. It's in good condition. So I just love that. Anything I find with cats on it, if it's in good condition, I buy, because crazy cat people always buy it. And I also found these are men's shoes. I don't usually venture into the men's shoe category. I stick with women's shoes. But these are actually, they're Sperry Topsider Gold Cup collection shoes. They're in almost perfect shape. I looked at some of the completeds quickly while I was shopping, and they were selling really high. So I think that these are going to do well once I get them listed. And finally, I love finding vintage Vera Bradley bags that are completely out of, they're a lot of the newer ones are discontinued, but these are like the old ones. Like, this is probably from the early 90s or the 80s, and it's just a great print. It's a large size. It's in great condition. You can see the old Vera Bradley tag inside, if I can get it.
Higher. Yeah, there we go. Hold it steady. Perfect.
And I have one more, actually. I know I said 5.
Oh, you little liar.
I know.
Little liar.
I found this awesome baby comforter blanket. It looks like it's from the 40s or 50s from the print. It's in great condition. I'm probably going to have it cleaned before I do list it, just because of the fact that it's got little ducks on it. It's adorable. Just because of the fact that it does have like a few dirt marks on it and whatnot, but it's just such a great old 40s or 50s blanket. So.
Hey, Nate, do me a favor, and people are talking about it. Angle your computer down towards you a little bit. You're getting lost in your name. Ah, there we go. Perfect.
Is that better? Okay.
Yep. There we go.
Thank you.
Job. All right, so here's some of my scores from that Salvation Army. And let me tell you, some of the nicest employees, too. They were really sweet there.
They were great, yes.
All right,
some of the customers were really nice, too.
Oh, yeah, it was a great store.
Yeah.
So not silver tab baggies, but silver tab loose. Not as desirable, but these are in great shape. And it was only $8. So I'm thinking, and they're 38.30s. I am thinking a good $35, $40. And my next one is not one Lost in Space T-shirt, and this is the Jupiter 2, their ship. And for you young kids, Lost in Space was an awesome TV show when I was a kid. But I found 2 Lost in Space T-shirts. So here's Robbie the Robot. And Robbie was $3, and the Jupiter 2 was $3. Then from anybody who was a punk in the 80s, I found a Dead Kennedy shirt for $1. And then being Philly, now anytime you live in a city that has a big sports team, obviously go Cavs, hello Cleveland. Anytime you live in a city with a big sports team, you're going to see a lot of the shirts and jerseys. You got to look for the older or the rare. Don't just grab the normals. So this is a 1990, let me get the exact year, 1992 Philadelphia Eagles Taz sweatshirt.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And this was a whole $2. So
I know from being a Philly person that that's gonna, like, the Phillies fans around here are crazy. The Eagles fans and the Phillies fans are crazy, so they're gonna love that one.
And between Nay and I, the biggest find score was this purse I'm about to show you.
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
So I found this brand a long time ago, and I found a Hawaiian print version of one of their purses. And so I was going to give it to my wife, and then I looked it up because I didn't know this designer. I looked it up, and I went, sorry, you're not getting this purse. It's worth too much money. So the brand is Isabella Fiore, and I will get out the tag if I can. There we go. Mm-hmm. Isabella Fiore. And she does these great purses with a lot of bling. So if you can see this one with the cherries, lots of bling. And, these purses sell $100, $150, $200 on the secondary market, and I paid $7 for this. So this is a sweet score, and you know what? Sometimes you got to get to the other side of the tracks to find the goodies, and that's our tip for this week. Alrighty. Before we get into our last normal segment, I want to give a shout out to a friend of ours who is helping out. If you are in our chat right now on YouTube, we have a good friend named Christine who is our official answer girl. What do you want to call her, Nay?
She's our answer girl. She's great. We love Christine.
So if you're in the chat right now, Christine Lemoyne, if there's a question or if Nay and I say something that's like jargon and you don't get it, ask in there and Christine will answer you. Everybody else is good and they're great help, but if Christine's answering, that's directly from us. So big shout out to Christine. Thank you, and we dearly love you for helping out.
Yes, thank you so much, Christine. Yay.
Yay, Christine.
Yes, there you go.
All right, so our last segment before we bring on our extra special guest of the week is our viewers' 2-minute topic of the week. And our viewer this week is Patty Campbell. And Patty asked, do you change what you source based on the season or holidays? And if so, when do you start gearing up for Halloween, Christmas, etc.? And I think the etc. means Arbor Day and Secretary's Day. So what we do is we do 60 seconds each with a little timer. Okay, get away from me. And I forgot to grab my handy-dandy little stand, so I'll be the handy-dandy little stand. And so, Nay, you are up, and here we go.
Okay. So I do not shop. I shop for seasonal items all year round. I just recently bought some Christmas Hallmark ornaments, and I listed them. If I find Halloween in July and January, I'll buy it, and I will list it right away because people like to get ahead of the holidays. You never know who's going to purchase what at what time, and I don't list seasonally at all. I try to, and Christmas sells all year round, by the way. I mean, I sell Christmas. I can sell it in July, whenever. So, and it's the same thing with the other holidays. So once I get it, I list it, and if it sits until around the holiday, that's fine with me, but often it'll sell at odd times that do not coincide with that holiday or season. So that's it.
All right, you came in short again. Come on, you come in 5 seconds short like every week. I'm telling you. I'm switching this to the 55-second topic of the week. All right, so here I go. So I am a little different. I used to be the guy that said, okay, you can buy holidays all year, but I would put them in a tub and I put them away until close to Halloween, so like September, or close to Christmas, like the end of October, beginning of November. And then one year I got some free listings after Christmas, so I threw every Christmas thing back up, and they started to sell. And I used to teach people, save it until it's close. And then once I realized that, like, oh, people buy stuff all year, I was like, ah, crap, I got to make sure that I get my stuff up. So I don't save it anymore. And a good example, if you're in our Facebook group, Thrifting with the Boys, my friend Greg bought a Tommy Bahama Christmas shirt just last week. Everybody was selling theirs for like 30 or 40. He put his up for 70 and it sold like that. So he knows you don't wait till Christmas time. And so I'm telling you, shop all year and list all year. And that's the tip from Jay and A. I'm going to come in right at 60. Go. All right, I got it.
I want to add one thing, too, about that. Holiday crafts, kits and whatnot, sell way ahead of time because people like to make them. They like to start making them in advance. So those also sell year-round. So.
Cool. All right, so what time is it now, Nay?
Is it our guest?
Oh, you know it. We're going to bring in our guest, Tim Taylor. Let me unmute Tim here. And Tim, I didn't know Tim. I've not known Tim for long. Tim's been in Thrifting with the Boys for quite a while. And Tim and I finally got to meet in person 2 months ago when I was home in Cleveland. He took a class from me. And since then, Tim has become my hero. And I wanted Tim to share his story with you. And it's kind of a continuation from last week. So I shared about my arm. It almost killed me. I almost lost it. I kind of persevered and worked through it. Nadine shared about her cancer. And I'm assuming you can tell. I'm going to pop Tim on the main screen here. Tim is in a wheelchair. So Tim's going to talk a little bit about that. But Tim is the man. And we're going to hear some stories from Tim. Yes, Nay?
Tim had sent me a message. He was one of the people that messaged me this week, and unfortunately I wasn't able to get back to him until today, but I did appreciate the message that he sent, and he said in his message that I inspired him, but I just wanted Tim to know that he inspires me, so I think he has a great story.
All right, so I'm going to, Tim's a little bit further from his computer than the rest of us. I'm going to turn Tim's mic up a little bit. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to yell at Tim. That Safe Ferris shirt hanging over your shoulder, I sold that about a year ago, and I have lost it, and I have not found it since. And I had to tell a customer, my bad. And then you had to tease me with that exact shirt.
Completely on accident. I had no idea. I apologize.
And nice Foo Fighters t-shirt, by the way, brother. I love that.
I actually found this at the Salvation Army here in Erie, and it's actually one of the most comfortable t-shirts I've ever put on. It's
Foo Fighters is a great band, and I met Dave Grohl waiting for a flight out of LAX one time, and one of the nicest rock stars I've ever met, and I've met quite a few. So
you're so lucky.
Good on you. So I'm going to have Tim share his story, and I'm assuming most of you can see or tell that Tim is in a wheelchair. That's not a surprise nor a hidden fact. So Tim's going to share a little bit about his story, and then we're going to have him share his screw you to Goodwill, I'm going to shop your story. So why don't you go ahead, Tim, tell us what you want to tell us, and then we'll go on from there.
Okay, back in 2003, I was dating a girl, and I was good friends with her sister. And after a softball game, I was 18, 2 months before my 19th birthday, and her sister was the same age, and my girlfriend was a year younger than I. And we were on our way to get a pizza one night after a softball game for the family, and we were rounding a turn around a bend, and there was a vehicle coming at us. And we swerved to miss the car. We did, and we ended up colliding with a tree. And I actually woke up in the hospital about 7 days later, and they had told me that I was the only one that lived in the accident, and that I was going to be paralyzed from the chest or neck down, I guess, and I was going to have a life of fighting and battling and obstacles, and so I just kind of thought for a long time, and I got down on myself for a little bit, but every day in the hospital I had friends there all the time. Every day they'd stop in and see me, and it like family, friends, and it brought my morale up and my attitude. So I thought for a while, and I thought that there's no point in being down about this, and so no matter the situation, no matter what I do, everything I do, I make the best of it. And so I spent 3 months in the hospital, and another 7 after that in physical therapy, trying to work my arms and stuff. For the first month, I couldn't move at all. I had tubes and whatnot sticking out of me, and so I went through physical therapy, and I learned how to use my arms, use what I could, and I started driving my chair. And fast forward a couple years, I seen a show called Thrift Hunters, and I'm on a fixed income. Other than I DJ on the side as much as I can. It's one of my hobbies that I love to do. And when I saw Thrift Hunters, I thought, this is something that I think I could do. I'm okay on the computer, but so I started reading, and I discovered Thrifting with the Boys when Jay introduced me to it a while back, and I just started learning from everybody on there, and I appreciate what he's done for me. Everybody has their hero, whether it's Kim Kardashian or LeBron James or whatever. Well, Jay is kind of mine. When I saw him, I thought I can do that, and so I'm kind of studying his ways, and he's taught me a lot. When I got a chance to go over to Cleveland on the west side or on the east side and meet him, it was one of the best days I've had in a long time, and it was fun. It was a great time. I found some cool stuff and learned a lot of things. And like I said, I'm not going to let something as small as a minor spinal cord injury, is what I call it, get in my way of having fun. I've done a lot of good things, even though I am in a wheelchair, but there's still a lot of things that I can do. So I do them. Yeah, I said do. So yeah, it's fun. I do what I can, and I'm pretty new to the eBay world. I've bought a lot of things off there, but I've never sold. I sold a car amplifier a few years back. Is my very first thing. I kind of forgot about it, and then when Thrift Hunters came on, I just said, you know what, I'm gonna go for it, and I haven't stopped yet, and I love it. It's so much fun. I like to be able to quote unquote work from home, I guess. I can sit out under the stars at night and list my products, and I gotta say thank you to my care attendants, which they help me take pictures, and I list the things, and they pack them, and we have a good team, and I just it works. It's a smooth running machine, I guess, is the best I can describe it.
So, I've met your one of your helpers. Or do you have more than one helper, or is it just Lisa?
Yeah, I have a few of them. They work different times, different days, or whatever. But yeah, Lisa's been with me for 4-ish years, a little over, and she's been there through a lot. So, and she's helped me pack. She helped me actually pack those skis for the most part, and that was one of the big tests. I had a Franken box that we had to create, somehow, and we actually got through it. But yeah, she's here with me. I don't know if you want to slide in.
Yeah. So here, well, we'll go back to your story a little bit, but since you brought up the skis, let me show. So Tim's got scores and duds, like we always have our guests share us. So let me share Tim's score with you, because he is talking about these skis right here. Boom, there we go. So I love old water skis. Now the problem is when I find them, and the same goes with my mom and dad, we put them up in our decor in our tiki houses. You found some and sold some. So what? Do you remember what you paid for these, Tim?
They were sitting in a corner, and I actually saw the sticker, and I couldn't believe it. I wasn't sure if I was seeing things, but I paid $4 for them.
Get out, $4?
Nope, I spent, well, plus tax.
Oh, well, all right then.
So a little over $4. But yeah, I got a screaming deal. At the time, I wasn't sure, so I did a little bit of research real quick, and I said throw them in the cart as quick as you can get them in there, and packed them up in my van and drove home and did a little more research, took some pictures, and sold them a couple months. They were on there for a good month or two, maybe. But yeah, I shipped them out to Florida, and he loves them.
And is Lisa there?
Yeah, she's right here.
So let's meet Lisa. I met Lisa at a shopping, so Nadine, you're about to meet Lisa for the first time.
You can bring it to her. Yeah, this is Lisa. She helps me out. She's been with me through quite a bit. And
Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
actually,
how
all
are
my
you?
workers are pretty awesome. I mean, they're just, they help me do what I do, and they help me live every day, and keep me healthy, and they're awesome.
Hey, Lisa, scoot over a little bit towards Tim so we can see a little better, because everybody is going to want to see. Because I've got to meet you, but I want everybody else to meet you because Tim's my hero, but man, you're his Robin.
All right,
Thank you.
that's a good way to put it.
Oh, absolutely. Now,
And the actual, I don't think Robin ever drove the Batmobile, but they drive my Batmobile.
so Lisa, what have you done any thrifting on your own now that you've kind of learned watching what Tim picks?
Yeah, I always find things when I'm with him. I usually keep and T-shirts.
And
Yeah.
The question is, have you sold anything yourself?
No, but I find things for Tim because I'm always up at the Menor or the Painesville Goodwill. So I'll stop in and send him pictures while I'm there, see if I can find anything that he would like.
I'm trying to get her to FaceTime some shelves as she goes down them, and I'll watch and be like, can I see that, or can I see that? But we haven't, got together at the same time to kind of match up that FaceTime. But yeah, they'll find stuff while they're out, and same with me. Like I saw a sock monkey the other day, and she collects sock monkeys, and she actually already had the one that I picked out. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's fun. I love it.
That's great. That's great.
You got any questions for Tim or Lisa, Nadine?
I don't know if I don't know if I really have a question, but it seems like, well, okay, how many items do you have in your store right now?
I think I just sold a couple, so I'm down to 148.
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah. And this is obviously your full-time job, right?
Yeah. As much as I can be. I'm not the best at it. I'm still learning. So I ask everybody if they could critique me and help me out. I do the same for anybody else.
Right.
But yeah.
I think you have a great system. It seems to work great for you, and wow, you're really an inspiration. I mean, speaking of people that inspire others, you're awesome. So good job.
You. As are you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tim said, he looks up to me, and I'm his Kim Kardashian. But getting to know Tim, and then the story he's going to share in a little bit, it's definitely the other way. Like, Tim makes me want to be a better person because, I've overcome what I had to deal with at this moment, and right now, knock on wood, everything's fine. And Tim is still in that chair, but Tim's like, nah, screw the world who sends crap at me. I'm going to just plow right through it. So he must have some big old thick knobby tires on that chair because he just goes through anything.
Well, I just have to say, if Tim is doing everything he can do, I can definitely beat cancer. That's like
you got this.
Oh, definitely.
All right, so Tim, before we get into your story, I want to show your other scores and your duds. But somebody asked, how did you ship the jet skis, the water skis?
I used USPS. I actually made a box and I laid them facing kind of each other, so the bindings, I guess they are together, so that it's a little bit of rubber cushion. And I wrapped them many times with bubble wrap, And then I took the box from Lowe's. They have like 10 or 12-foot pieces of cardboard. If anybody else needs cardboard, go to Lowe's. They have huge pieces to make Franken boxes. And they were plenty long enough. And what I did was I laid them together, and then I rolled it 3 times. It was kind of like a triangle, kind of like you get like, you can get the little triangle or the poster boxes. It was just kind of like that, and I made it a little bit too long, so when I cut it, the specs and the weight actually brought it down to like, I think it was like $22 or something to ship it, so it actually worked out really well. I don't know how I did it, but it lucked out, so I was happy.
Yeah, Frankenbox is the way to go, and if you've not sold something where you had a Frankenbox, you haven't been selling long enough, because we've all had a Frankenbox something. It's crazy. All right, Tim, let's go through a couple more of your other scores here, because that's part of what we do here. We want to make sure to show that our guests are just like us. They sell. Sometimes they're winners. Sometimes they're losers. And we're going to do 2 more of your scores here. So here's your next score. Tell us where you found it and what you paid. It is the espresso machine.
Salt and espresso, the coffee maker. There's a little hospital like thrift shop in little town Conneaut next to me in the upper east corner of Ohio, and I actually found it in a box, and I picked it up. I wasn't sure exactly what it was, but from like the Krups like coffee makers or whatever, it kind of looked like one of those. So I did a little bit of research, and it said salt on it. So I looked it up, and I seen that somebody had sold one for like $175. So I said, you know what, this thing is $3, or I think it was $3. So I took a chance, brought it home, cleaned it up, snapped some pictures, and made sure it worked. And the guy paid, I think it was $85 or something that it sold for after best offer, and I did free shipping, so it worked out pretty well. I think it was like 12 or 13 bucks, I think I paid to ship it. But yeah, it was awesome. Definitely one of the early scores that I had. So it was definitely a morale booster in that sense.
Yeah, and as like you said, would you say it was $3, right, Tim?
Wow, that is amazing.
$3 is not a gamble, and I always tell people when they go, "Should I buy this?" It's $1. Yes, because you learn from your mistakes. But boy, if it's a $100 item, that dollar's gonna look so sweet. All right, so here's your other score, and
wow.
Yeah, the Singer sewing machine. It was like an early. It was like the vintage green kind of model. It came with a case. This thing weighed like 30-some pounds, 35 pounds, and I felt bad for Lisa when she had to lug it out of the thrift store. It was at a Salvation Army Erie there. Go ahead.
Oh no, I just laughed because you felt bad for Lisa.
Yeah, we lugged it out of there. It needed a little bit of cleaning and stuff. But yeah, like she knows all about that stuff, so it would kind of bounce off each other, I guess, learning and stuff like. That everything was there, it worked fine. I did a little video. I had to learn through the thrifting how to do the video online there, and it worked out really well. The guy sent me a message, and we agreed on the $115. I think I had it listed for $130, and it was did free shipping, and it was, I don't remember how much I paid for shipping, but it was a beast. I had to make my own box again, and
you take on the challenges.
Yeah.
That's great.
But yeah, I was excited. Another good score. That's the kind of stuff that keeps me doing this, really, and I'm sure everybody can relate that it's awesome.
Definitely.
Now, Tim, when you're building the Franken boxes, can you do it, or is somebody else doing it for you?
No. I guess I'm kind of the mastermind behind it, and they're my hands. That's what they do, and they're awesome at it. And I just use a lot of tape and a lot of duct tape and a lot of a lot of cardboard.
So what you're saying is you're Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
$1,000,000.
No matter the level or the skill of your thrifting ability, whether you've been doing it a long time like me and have a TV show out of it, or if you're kind of new like Tim, we all have our duds. So let's look at Tim's duds here, and Tim will tell you why they're duds, because sometimes duds aren't always because they weren't good sellers, especially this hot roller set right here. It's on you, Tim.
I saw this on the shelf. I have never bought a feminine product of the hair kind before, so I took a chance on it. I got it for $5.99. I kind of did a little research and I threw it up there, and I got it home, and the one worker asked me, where's the clip? I had no idea that came with clips, so in between while it was listed, I kind of scoured everywhere for clips that were cheap. I couldn't find any, but I ended up having it listed since like November, and I thought it would never sell. I thought I'd have to, redonate it, and it finally sold for, a couple bucks more than I paid. But I think that's another thing that I probably paid somebody to take off my hands. So that was definitely a dud in my mind, I guess.
Yeah, rollers are funny. Some of them are great, and then others are duds. It's hard to tell. Like the ones that I had shown last week were vintage rollers. And like I said, I have a friend. We have a friend, Bridget, who knows a lot about rollers, and so she could probably tell you more about why certain ones are a dud. But what I do in thrift stores, I usually look them up. There was one that I saw the other day, and it wasn't selling for much. But so you never know. But some of them do sell great. So it was a wise thing to pick up. I understand why you did.
All right. Yeah. So go ahead, Tim.
I was just going to say I was just kind of excited to get it off my hands and get it to somebody else.
I know that feeling. Yes.
We've all had that feeling like, yes. Oh, it left and it didn't really. I mean, it might have lost a couple bucks, but it still left. Yay.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
All right, here's a DC Comics Justice League small T-shirt with Batman and Superman, Green Lantern, and Flash.
Yeah, the same with this one. I paid like $1.99 for it. I just went up and down with it. I couldn't move it. I didn't have any watchers or anything. But it was a very well made, well taken care of shirt. It was excellent shirt. But it just didn't move. I didn't know what to do with it, and it like that one I sold and pretty much almost paid somebody to take it off my hands again. Paid like maybe 13 cents. I'm not positive.
Yeah, here's a shirt. I'm basically giving you $5. Thanks for shopping. And then Tim, you have a whole little story with this one. This looks.
Oh wow, to me, that looks awesome. Yeah.
It looks like a scar.
Yeah, it does look awesome at first sight. Which I guess I did make a little bit off it, but I went to an amazing rummage sale, the first one I ever went to, and I picked it up and quickly looked it over, and the price was actually written on like a piece of tape. Well, I got home, I started cleaning it up, and I took the tape off to take pictures and stuff. And when I took the tape off, the one left side hanger actually fell off, and the wires were hanging there, and I was like, well, I guess that's why the tape was on there. So I listed it, for parts as is and whatnot. But yeah, I definitely should have looked it over better. And the little button that hangs it up must have fell out too sometime, in its travels. But it was definitely a really nice looking old antique looking phone. But I paid I think I paid $1.50 for it and made it 18-ish, somewhere around there, or 16. But yeah, it was definitely a story in its own. But definitely never gonna miss any rummage sales, because that was an interesting experience. And it's definitely hard to get around a store as a store empty, let alone hundreds of people in a gymnasium in a rummage sale. It's kind of hard to meander your way around. And
was this like a church run rummage sale?
Yeah, it was a.
Yeah, they're great. I know I've hit a few of them too, and they just you do great at those. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey Tim, couple questions.
Yeah.
People love your photos, so it's a two-part question.
Sure.
Is Lisa taking the actual taking of the photo?
Yeah, they not just Lisa, but I have a Wendy and a girl named Jess that work for me too. Shout out to them out there. take the photos. I kind of tell them here and there. You know, I stand kind of off to the side and just kind of get the angle kind of right. I was actually worried about my photos. I didn't think they looked well enough.
Those are fantastic.
And so it's your vision, and then people want to know what your backdrop is because everyone loves your photos.
My backdrop's actually just an old sheet. That's actually it's been used, but it's in good shape. And I actually have 4 clamp lamps from Walmart with just the twisty bulbs, like the fluorescent type twisty bulbs, but the natural lighting, I guess, bulbs, or the pure blue light or whatever it is. But yeah, it seems to work out really well. And there's just a poker table, and that's pretty much it.
That's great. Yeah, you have a great setup. Your pictures look they look great.
Thank you.
I gotta say, Tim, the whole process, your team and you, your eye, their help, it's phenomenal. It's really it's amazing. I'm just I mean, I knew a lot of this, but you know, I'm just seeing and really thinking about the pictures and seeing everyone else comment on them. I'm just like, wow, this is awesome. So good on you, brother. Well done. Well done for the people that help you. Well done for you just saying, screw it, I can make my own way in the world, no big deal. But now I want you to share the story of goodwill, because that's the bomb diggity story right there.
Yeah. I went, I wanted to venture out of my close thrift stores. I have 2 within 4 minutes of me. But I wanted to venture out and see, you know, what I could find or what I could, you know, how well I could do. So I went to a little bit of south. You might be familiar with Andover area. They have a huge flea market out there, but there is a Goodwill in town there. And so I got out of my van, and I'm just used to rolling up into stores. You know, they have their curb ramps or whatever. Well, there wasn't a ramp outside, and there was a 6 or 8 inch curb, way too high for me to do a wheelie up onto and get into, which I've done before. So I kind of asked the manager guy if he, you know, had a ramp in the back or a back dock I could get in, and you know, he wasn't very helpful, but you know, it happens. So he told me, you know, the building is old enough that, you know, it could be grandfathered into, you know, having no ramp or anything. So I kind of just said, screw it. I went home. And instead of getting down or anything, I said, you know what? I'm going to find the closest lumber yard, and I'm going to make my own damn ramp, and I'm going to get in the store and do some shopping. And, you know, so I contacted them too, and I let them know that, you know, there's no ramp out there, and they're probably missing out on some profits. There's got to be some, you know, disabled individuals out there, or some elderly people that need, you know, wheelchairs too, that can't get in the store. And you know, we were in talk for a little bit. Well, they weren't doing anything, so I went and made my own ramp at the lumber store right down the road and took it there and got in, and I actually found some awesome stuff there. I found a Steve Miller Band shirt and a WWF jersey kind of thing, and there was actually some good scores. And it was around Christmas time that I went back and I found an ugly sweater. It was really cool, but I didn't buy it. I should have. I kind of regret it, but that was something that I wasn't going to let keep me down. You know, I went full in on it, and just, you know, anything I do it that way. You know, I stop and think until I get a solution, and, you know, to fix my issue.
So a couple things I want to say about that is you're the man. You're awesome. I mean, that's anybody who watches this, who walks on 2 feet, who gets up in the morning and stubs their toe, or their cat poops on the carpet, and if you complain about your day and you've heard Tim's story, then shame on you. Because Tim said, screw it, I ain't letting anything hold me down. I'll make my own ramp. I'm in a wheelchair, but I'm going to make my own ramp. That is amazing.
That is.
I try.
Oh, you're doing great.
Unbelievable. But, you know, I'm so glad you found a Steve Miller shirt. 'Cause I'll tell a quick story because it definitely ties in together. When I was growing up, my mom's brother, my Uncle Nino, he was my godfather and my uncle, obviously. And he took me to my first concert when I was 10 years old.
Nice.
He threw me on the back of his motorcycle. And, hey, Tim, have you ever been to Blossom Music Center?
In Cleveland?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, 10 years old, back of a Harley, off we go to Charlie Daniels. Juice Newton is open. It's the height of Devil Went Down to Georgia. And Juice Newton playing with the Queen of Hearts or an Angel in the Morning. And we were in crummy seats, but by the end of the show, he had stuck me down to the 10th row. And I saw Charlie play that fiddle for Devil Went Down to Georgia. And from that moment on, I was hooked on concerts. And I've been to 2,200 since then, give or take. So my uncle has passed away because of cancer, and so that's part of the donation in his name. But him and I, when Cleveland State opened up their new arena, at the time was called the Convocation Center, the first event was a Steve Miller concert, and we got there early and got stoned in the bathroom. We were the first ones to get stoned at the Cleveland State Convocation Center for the Steve Miller concert.
Woo! Awesome. Awesome.
So thanks for finding a Steve Miller shirt so I can work in a cool story about my uncle, because he meant a lot to me, and I'm bummed. He's really bummed he's not here, but we're going to raise some money on behalf of Nadine and him and anybody else that's ever been affected by cancer in anybody's lives. We're going to make a huge group donation, but on behalf of all of us, for all our friends and family that have been affected by it.
I'll get right on getting my bra head picture right up there. I'll get it as soon as I get off here.
Yeah, I see. We already have one contestant. I mean, that's that's awesome.
Great.
I hope Cheryl's still listening, but I am. Somebody was asking about how to donate. I will put the link to where we're donating into the contest, and we'll be promoting it the rest of the week. So, besides, I want everyone to participate. I also want everyone to, spread the word. Take our contest page from our fan page and push it out to your friends and family. You might win money, but the more people who do it, the more I will donate on behalf of Nadine, my Uncle Nino, and everybody else.
Awesome.
Thank you. It's great that we can do this, and for people like myself and others who are struggling with cancer and other challenges. So I really appreciate it.
And damn you, Tim, you made me cry today, buddy.
Sorry, man. Happy tears to everybody.
No, it's quite all right. It's I promise you, not every show will be emotional, but we want every show to be inspirational. So not always emotional, but inspirational. Like we want to have fun and share our scores and my rum cocktails, but we want to share inspiration too, because you find inspiration in funny and weird ways. You meet people that you didn't know will touch you in your life. And so that's what I want our show to be, and I really think that's what our show is becoming. I really, I'm grateful that Tim came on tonight. I love my co-host, and I think this is going to be awesome show, and it's going to do a lot of good. We're going to have a lot of fun, and that's all I got to say about that.
Thank you guys for bringing me on for your second show. I don't know how else to say. I was so excited all day long. And since you asked me, actually, I was so nervously excited. But
you did great.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was such an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you guys, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tim. We're going to say goodbye to you, and then we're going to get out of here in 2 seconds. But goodbye, Tim. I will see you on Thrifting with the Boys later, and we will chat, brother.
Take care, everyone.
And
bye,
bye, Lisa.
Bye,
Lisa. See you guys.
All right, Nay, how do you think our second show went after my catastrophe at the beginning?
Well, I think we did great, and I think Tim was fantastic. I think he hit it out of the ballpark. So.
Yeah, he was. Debbie had great tips last week for books. Tim had a great inspirational story.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, if he can beat that, and he can still, and he's doing what he's doing, then I can kick a little thing called cancer. That's small potatoes compared to what he's doing. So.
Yep, I fully agree. Tim's the man, and if a guy in a wheelchair that does not have much use of his body can go build a ramp so he can do what he wants to do, we all can do what we want to do. Get up out of your chair, go do what you want to do. Find that thing that you're like, oh, I can't do it. Go do it.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
very motivating and very inspiring. He was great.
I mean, that's it. You know, that's the bottom line. Go do it. You know, life's too short. Life is way too short to not go do it. You know, and it's all right. Let's raise some money, people. Let's have some fun. I want to see some funny pictures of you and your bras on your head. Put them on your kids. I don't care if your kid's screaming. Put it on your kid's head. Let's have some fun. Let's raise some money because maybe the money we raise is the help that Nadine gets in the future too.
Yeah, I actually ran into some obstacles with some of the testing I have today. They just don't have the technology to test for everything with genetic testing for the cancer. And I ran into that today. I ran into an obstacle, and they said, we just don't have the technology. We need to do more research, unfortunately. So it's definitely needed, and you know, maybe someday there'll be a cure so that you know, other women won't have to face this or other types of cancer in general. So thank you, everyone.
So the chat is saying our new saying is going to be build a ramp. Like, moaning, why about
I like that. I like that.
Build a ramp, and that's how we're going to end it. I love that. That is awesome.
That's great.
So I want to thank everyone that tuned in. Oh, too loud.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in. We love doing this show. We love the comments. You know, follow me. It's my YouTube channel, Jason Smith. Leave a comment. Give us a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give us a thumbs down. But tell us why you don't like it. I'll listen. We'll talk. But come join our contest. Win some money. Let's raise some money. Let's have a good time. Thank you, Nay.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night. Bye.
Ta-ta.